Okay, so in this video we're going to actually have a look at the unit itself. Now, the instructions don't have a description of any of this that you see on here. What I'll do is I'll just connect in the power. This is to the USB connector, and it will automatically turn on and instantly go into recording mode. So now you can see in the top left we've got the red icon, which means the red LED, which means there's an external power source coming in, and we have the blue LED underneath it, which tells us that the control panel is actually turned on, which obviously if you've got a camera plugged in like this one here, so I've got a camera here on the bench, you can see it's turned on because it's showing the image, and obviously you've got all of these different options around it. Now you can see the red flashing light here, which means on the actual screen itself, which means it's recording. So I'll just press OK once, and you can hear that audible beep, and it turns off and it stops recording. Now the remote control that you have, that you connect, when you press the record on that, it basically does what that OK button does and starts it and stops it recording. So we've looked at the two LEDs. If we move across now, we can see this little blue icon at the top. This is what mode the control unit is in. Now there are three modes. There's video, photography and file browser. Now I'll go into that a bit later on and in more detail so we can actually see the menus. Underneath, this is basically when you set the camera up or you set the control unit up, you can record in 1, 3 or 5 minute cycles. And at the moment it's set for 3. In the center here you can see it says 1080. You can select what resolution either you're going to video in or you're going to make photographs in. So you can set them separately to different resolutions. Now this top part here, I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me just do this so you can, so it actually, I need to look at something dark, don't I, so you can actually see. Is that better? Yeah, so there. So you can see as we look at in the top right corner here, it took me a while to figure this out, but that looks as though that's actually the amount of recording time you have left on the memory card. Now I tested this by looking at the time it had displaying, recording a video for 4 or 5 minutes, whatever, seeing that the time had actually gone down, and then actually taking out the memory card and seeing that it went down to absolute 0. So it looks as though it's an approximate guesstimation of how much recording time you do have left. Now down the side here, there are a set of buttons along the side of the control unit itself, and they all correspond to these options here. So the first option you've got, it just says OK, and basically that's a confirmation of any of the menu options you might select when you go into the different menus. The M actually means what mode you want to be in, and if you press the mode button, you'll see that the icon here changes. So at the moment we're in video. If I press it once, it changes into photography, and if I press it once more, it goes into file browser. And this is basically showing you the recording of where the camera was sat on the bench earlier, so you can format it, delete them, save them, protect them and so on. If I press it once more and we go back into the video mode. If we come over now to the bottom left of the screen, you can see that little microphone icon. Obviously in the options, if you turn the microphone option on or off, you'll see either it's clear like that, or you'll see it with a sort of a big red no entry sign going across to tell you that it's muted. Next to that we have the date and time stamp. Well, this is the time stamp. You can have that displayed on the video or the photographs that you take. You can choose that in either of the options. Again, I'll go into that in the modes in a minute. And then here we can see is the date format. Now I'm not sure what format that is because it's the year, month, day, whereas I believe in America it's normally the month, day, year, and here in the UK we have day, month, year, but this is year, month, day, so I don't know what that's supposed to be. And then the last two icons we can see here on the screen. The top one shows whether there is a memory card in or not. It's a micro SD, and it takes up to a maximum of 32 gigabytes. So when you buy this, it doesn't, the memory card doesn't come with the cameras and the unit. So if you're going to buy one of these, make sure you get an SD card at the same time, micro SD. And then at the bottom there, it shows like a little battery symbol. Now I'm assuming this is to show you how much charge the internal battery of the unit has. Unfortunately with this unit so far, I don't seem to be able to manage to charge it up for it to last longer than 3 or 4 minutes. When it's plugged in, whether it's plugged into the bike or whether it's plugged into USB, it works fine, then it stays running. But as soon as I unplug it, it just doesn't seem to hold a charge at all. So I'm not sure whether there is a battery in there or whether the battery's just goosed and it's just not holding a charge or taking a charge. The last thing we want to look at is on this side here, there is the slot for the memory card. So that's pretty much it for what all of these things are. And now I'll just quickly run through what the different modes are. So as I said, now at the moment we're in video mode. Now if we press the M button, just press it once, you see we toggle through the 3 different modes that are available. Okay, so there's video, photography, file browser. However, if we now go back to the video, if we actually press and hold in the M button, it now comes up with all of these different menu options, and you can see we can use the up and down buttons now to select whichever option we want, and then if there's an option we want to change, we press OK to select it and then do whatever it allows us to do. If you press the M button a second time, as though you were just toggling through the mode, so don't hold it down, just press it quickly, it shows us a second set of options. Now, these are just settings, I think, because these look as though they're common to all 3 modes. If we press it again, we should come out and go back into the video mode. So if we press it again, we now go into photography. So you can see it's changed at the top now to a little camera icon. And again, all of these other settings that you can see are all changeable within the menu. So if we press and hold the M, you can see now there are different sets of options for photography mode. And if we just do a quick press, it shows us again those settings options which seem to be common for each menu. We press it again, that should take us out back into photography, and we press it once more and it takes us into the file browser. This allows us to look at any of the photographs that we've taken, and it allows us to delete them or to format the SD card. The last thing I want to say is on these options here, where you can see this OK, the M, and this looks like a little cloud icon. I think that's a Head and Shoulders. But basically, when you have both of your cameras plugged in, I'm just going to go back into video mode. When you've got both of the cameras plugged in, if you press that button, it toggles between a split screen with the 2 cameras, the front screen, the rear screen, or then it toggles back to the 2 again. So that's what that option is when you're in video mode. And that pretty much is everything for the control panel.